Hello, this is Eric.
Hey, is this Christopher?
Christopher, yes.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine. How about yourself?
Good, good. You go by Eric, I suppose, right?
Yes, I am Christopher Eric Hoffman. My parents christened me Eric. They all go by their middle name, or did. And so it's been a lifetime of confusion. Yes.
All right. Well, I got it down now, right?
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Well, congratulations, sir. Congratulations on passing your exam.
Thank you. It's a load off. I'm sure you remember
Of
what it
course.
was like.
Of course. Now the fun part can start.
Yeah, that's for sure. I tell you what, I'm really looking forward to the next phase of life here.
Awesome. So, what I'd love to do today, Christopher, is just get a chance, or I'm sorry, Eric. I'm gonna erase it right now.
Either one's fine.
No, I got you. I won't make the mistake again. Okay, so what I'd love to do is just get to know you a little bit better and hear a little bit more about your background and what your goals are for this venture. Want to help you understand anything about Keller Williams you might be curious about, help you understand why I'm the one calling, and see if I can help you take the next steps. Sound good?
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. It's great.
Perfect. Have you ever spoken with anyone about Keller Williams before?
I have not.
Okay.
I have not. I have known agents that have, gosh, I mean, I don't think anyone in the world doesn't know a Keller Williams agent.
Right.
And I know a few brokers as well.
Okay.
From the agency.
Okay,
From
so
the company.
cool.
But never talked to anybody about it. No.
Okay. Beautiful. So sounds good. So tell me a little bit about your journey. What is this going to be, full-time, part-time? Tell me a little bit about what you're hoping to achieve.
Sure. The quickest answer is that I'm looking to make a career change. And
okay.
To make real estate, and I'm using my hands to make a big kind of umbrella shape here. The world of real estate, my career.
Okay.
I have a varied background, but primarily technological and artistic background. I started out in IT.
Okay.
And I'm actually a Microsoft certified engineer. It's a certification classroom exam. Frankly, quite similar in depth and breadth to the license exam.
Okay.
And I did that ages ago, and then as a byproduct of just some moonlighting back in the late '90s, I moved into web design.
Okay.
And that is actually now my full-time job. I'm a freelance web designer. I'm self-employed. I've been doing this is my 12th year, going on 13.
Awesome.
Incorporated, self-employed, work from home. And I have a good business. I have chosen not to build it into anything larger because I knew that I really wanted to migrate into real estate. And so that's kind of where I am now, frankly. And so I think, having had some self-employment experience and then, working for myself, I think that's going to help a great deal. I'm not having to, kind of handle that transition from no job or a full-time job as an employee. I know many agents are, they're kind of lone wolves, or they're self-employed at least.
Right.
Whether they're working for a service agency or a brokerage or not.
Right. One thing you'll see pretty much right away is that we're basically in the same business, which is
yes.
Our job is to acquire clients, serve clients, and communicate with clients, right? And what we sell is the only difference, really, right? But in terms of lead generation, following up, systems, running the back office, the marketing, the administrative stuff, very similar.
Yeah, Okay.
Right. So if you have the ability to go out into the marketplace and find people to help, you have now solved the hardest part of this business. Right.
Yes, and I'm not a self-promoter, so it's hard for me to say this sometimes, but I'm really good at that. I'm very good with customers. I have a very simple, open, honest, sometimes too self-effacing sort of approach to what I'm doing now. But that is the only marketing I've ever done. I've never bought marketing for my business. It's only been word of mouth and leaving customers happy. And so that's how I've existed.
Cool.
So
I think you'll be
I
a,
doubt that I can transition that. It's just it's the fear of the unknown as far as what that looks like and what it's going to sound like coming out of my mouth.
yeah, that part we can help you with for sure.
I know. Yeah.
Awesome. So have you done any research in terms of different brokerages, or have you met with any other companies? Tell me where you are in that process.
I've done a little bit. I've known this was coming for quite a while, but frankly, I really have not done a lot of homework on brokerages leading up to this point. What I have done so far, I have two gentlemen that I'm very close with, both of which are with EXP.
Okay.
And one guy, he kind of hung his license there because he's not very active, and he did not need or want a lot of support. And so
Okay.
he's just to buy a vacant lot here or there. He himself actually owns a storage facility, but his daughter runs it, so he's very hands off on that. He doesn't need brokerage help for that. And so he had been talking with me a little bit about he knew I was being studying. And then I have another friend who was very active, and he's about 1.5 to 2 years into his licensure, and he's achieved icon status with EXP. And I met with him yesterday and talked kind of nitty gritty about that. I've been sharing with him my education process and whatnot.
Right.
And
What's his name?
his name's Derek Spain.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's kind of in the his territory, as he said. He's like, I'll drive it, but he's primarily like from Habersham. He's sold some mountain property and developed up there down to kind of the South Gwinnett, Decula, mid Gwinnett, Decula, Lawrenceville area. He's like me. He's a lifetime Gwinnett County native.
Okay.
So, and then I've got some appointments set up to talk to a couple of other brokerages of, I guess, similar in scope to Keller Williams, like Better Homes and Gardens, but then also some of the smaller local ones as well. And I'm just really right now on kind of a fact-finding mission.
Gotcha.
I'm self-employed, as I mentioned, so I've got time. I can command my time if I need to, to kind of take care of all this. And so, but I'd kind of like to have a decision made in the next couple of weeks at most.
Yeah, perfect.
I really don't want to drag it out, because I'm anxious to get on to transitioning away from the web design business and into this. So
okay,
so
perfect.
That's kind of where I am.
So
You're the second person I've talked to officially.
Perfect. So what are you hoping to hear? What kind of questions do you ask when you go to these meetings?
A lot of questions regarding cost, frankly, and support. Honestly, those are the two biggest concerns I have. How much is going to come, out of just the monthly costs, and then
Yep.
What's coming out of my commission. And then really the biggest thing after that is just, if you want to call it mentoring, or you want to call it education, I don't know what it would be, but basically just the simple, kind of questions that I think every new agent is going to have. Am I
Yep.
filling these, contracts out correctly? Did I speak out of turn? Have I said something stupid? Did I miss something? How could I have handled this situation differently? That kind of information, just transitioning from what I know very well to what I don't.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So have you spent some time looking into Keller Williams? Are you familiar with, kind of what we're known for, or history, or anything like that, technology?
A little bit last night.
Okay, what did you find?
I looked at, kind of some comparison contrast, because I'll be honest, after spending about a year kind of slowly but surely talking about EXP, I feel like I look at what I know of the industry, and I feel like it's them and you guys, as far as not necessarily the scope. I know you guys are huge, but more so kind of the comparison and contrast from, the technological point of view. Although what I did learn, it sounds like you guys really are offering many of the same kind of support systems and things like that. So, but I don't know that I learned enough to really feel comfortable making a decision yet.
Gotcha.
And honestly, I still don't know all the questions I should be asking.
I think the ones that I think what you brought up is really important, right? I might switch around the order a little bit, but I think that if you were to ask me, I would say, show me the people that are in my shoes, and I want to see what kind of success they're having. So basically, what you should be thinking of yourself as, in my opinion, is a free agent right now, right? You could pretty much walk into any real estate company in town and say, I'd like to work here, and they're going to happily hire you, right? So then the question becomes, who is going to be the best partner for me, right? Because if they don't know what I want or why I want it, and they're not equipped to help me with the plan or hold me accountable, then I'm probably not going to get the support I need, right? So there's kind of two different kind of paths you can go down. One is a company, what I would call more of a traditional real estate company, where, in my opinion, they believe their brand is the most important thing they have. And that's why they tell the world about their brand. Problem is the brand doesn't help anyone buy or sell any homes, right? That is pre-internet business models, right?
Yes.
It's not, according to NAR, National Association of Realtors, 4% of home buyers and sellers select their agent based on brand, which means that 96% of consumers don't care what company you work for. They just want to know you're good, right? They want to pick the best agent you can find. So then the company's mission should be to go to equip their agents to be the best agents they can find. But buying a billboard and directing traffic to a number or a website so they can sell the leads back to you at a higher cost, that's a different model, right? The other option is you understand that your agents are the most important thing you have. And if you take care of your agents, they will be better equipped to take care of their clients. Because let's say you were to come to Keller Williams and you build up a great business, and 3 years from now you decide to leave, let's say you have 400 people in your database, they're not going to stay at Keller Williams. They're going to go support you wherever you go, right?
Sure.
And it makes a lot more sense, in my opinion, to help our agents brand themselves and teach them how to become business owners. Because if they don't behave like a business owner and run the money like a business owner, or learn and get inspired or train and hire like a business owner, then they're not going to likely achieve the potential or quality of life that they could achieve. So if any of these meetings, if they're not talking about building businesses and quality of life, I think they're missing the boat, personally.
Yeah, right. That makes a lot of sense.
Right, because basically everyone gets into the business for the same reason, and that's to have a better quality of life, right? Yep. They want more freedom, more flexibility, more income opportunities, more control, right?
All of those are the reason that I'm self-employed now.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So when we're done, I'll send you an email with some additional information, some links and some videos about some of the things that Keller Williams is known for, right? We are started in the mid 80s as a one office company in Austin, Texas. We are now over 850 market centers across the world. We're in 53 countries in addition to the United States and Canada. We are the largest real estate firm in the world by agent count. We are by far the largest real estate firm in Metro Atlanta by agents, by units sold, and by volume sold. And we have that Triple Crown Award in North America as well. Most agents, most units, most volume. I think that I want to make a specific point, which is sometimes people say, oh, you're a big company, I could fall through the cracks or something. And I would actually look at it completely the opposite way, which is you only become a big company because two things had to happen. One is you had to grow, right? You had to attract more people than your competition. And that comes from having a great value proposition. And maybe even more importantly, you better execute on that stuff or they're going to come in and leave immediately.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. And size doesn't bother me.
Okay, good. Because I was going to say,
no, that doesn't bother me in the least, because I would add a company couldn't achieve really that size, a company based on, this, model of working with agents. You really could not have achieved that if you weren't supporting on the local list of levels.
That's exactly right.
So yeah, no, that doesn't bother me in the least.
Cool. Another thing I would be looking into right now, honestly, is technology. Right? Is the company building the technology? Right? We've built a $1 billion plus tech platform where we had Google employees as our beta testers. We developed it in concert with our agents, almost 30,000 agents that traveled to Austin to build this software together. So it's not just a bunch of computer guys sitting in a room trying to figure out how to build it for real estate agents. Right? It's been an integrative process. A lot of companies are either they're so far behind on the tech battle that they're having to buy technology, essentially, technology companies. And then you have to wonder, what's the deal with the data? How's the data going to be used? Right? Do they have enough data for insights, et cetera? So technology is a big deal right now. A lot of companies will talk about how they're a technology company, but they've essentially just bought all their technology and it doesn't necessarily speak to each other, right? And remember that the name of the game is lead generation. So if you are not in control of your lead flow, you will never be in control of a high quality of life, right? You can't walk in the door and say, I want to make 100 grand and say, where are my leads? Right. It just doesn't work. And a lot of people need to hear that, right? So with all that said, let me help you understand why I'm calling you. I want to get you some more information ultimately so you can learn more about the company and become more prepared for a meeting, which I can help facilitate. So in addition to a lot of the stuff we've talked about, technology and culture and support, mentorship, productivity coaching, training, et cetera. We've been named the #1 training organization in the world. We were just named the #1 company for women entrepreneurs, for veterans, work-life balance, lots of different designations like that. In addition to all that, we are a profit-sharing company. So the way that works with Keller Williams is think about each office as a single entity, as a business itself, right? So you're going to pay commission splits into the office, just like you would at any brokerage. And the brokerage basically takes that money and they use it to pay the expenses of the office, right? The building rent and the staff salaries and that kind of stuff. And whatever's left over is profit. And in your typical business, as you're certainly aware of, profit goes to the owner or the owners. And the agents don't have a say in how the decisions are made, and they don't have a say or even a knowledge of what the profit is, if there is any, right? At Keller Williams, first of all, we're an open book company. So you can see every dollar that comes in, every dollar that leaves. We have agent leadership councils, where it's basically an agent-led board of directors, so that you can ultimately have a say in many of the decisions that are made on a hyper-local level, in an effort to support, like you said, at the most granular level of support. I don't know of any other company that has that, an agent leadership council. And the other great part is that there's a system involved where the agents can participate in a share of the profits, can earn a share of the profits simply by helping the company grow. So what would ultimately happen, Eric, is let's say you join your local KW office. They would ask you a question when you came to the company that says, who was the person most influential in your decision to join the company? That person would be called, just two seconds for me. That person would be called your sponsor. Okay. And ultimately what would happen is, let's say you come in, you're getting trained, you're learning what you need to learn. And let's say you have a transaction that closes in October. Okay. When they run the books at your office, which they do each month, because you had a transaction, there'll be a portion of the money that you paid into the office to pay office expenses, and a portion will trickle down to profit. If you worked in any other organization, that profit would just be retained by the owners, and that's it, right? If you're at KW, the ownership group will take about, it's a 3-tiered formula, not to get in the weeds with you, but it's about 52%. If you calculate it all out, it's about 52% will be retained by the investor group, and the other 48% will be shared in the profit share pool. So now you have a deal that closed in October, a portion of that money is going to trickle down to become profit, and the owner theoretically would say, oh my gosh, thank God Eric's here, because otherwise we wouldn't have had that deal and we wouldn't have had this piece of profit. So who was responsible for attracting Eric to the company? Okay, and they would share a percentage of that profit with that sponsor. Okay, and it's actually a 7-level system. So your sponsor would receive a portion, your sponsor would receive a portion, and it goes up a total of 7 levels. The beautiful thing there is because it is a profit system, you have owners and agents that have a vested interest in each other's success. Even those that are not related through profit share at the office, just 2 peers that have no profit share relationship, right? They have a vested interest in each other's success because it's all based on profit, right? So the owners and agents have a vested interest, the agents and agents have a vested interest. And that is honestly one of the big parts about culture, right? Because everyone's interested in each other's success, you find a lot more agents sharing ideas, teaching classes, helping one another, right? I'm not saying you don't find that at other companies. I'm just saying there's no financial incentive for it, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And when you have a financial incentive, it affects behavior, right? So like the government, for example, like they say, hey, we want you to give to charity. So we'll incentivize you with a tax break if you give to charity, right? So it's the same kind of thing. Some of our competitors, one of which you've already named, is a revenue sharing company, right? And that is a different model altogether. First of all, we tried revenue sharing back in the 80s, and what we found when Gary Keller went to a compensation expert is that no one had any skin in the game. And the only people that were interested in helping each other were the people that were directly tied to that sponsorship, right? So if you didn't name one of your colleagues, then you didn't have the additional support of all your peers, right? And plus,
More of a vertical bucket.
yeah, that's actually a really good way to put it. That's exactly right, right? So what I've seen just from my leadership position is you get lots of support, but they tend to be a little bit cliquey and like kind of pods, so to speak, right?
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure.
Right. Okay, so that's profit share. So that's why I asked you at the beginning if you had a relationship with anyone at the company. I certainly wanted to honor that relationship. If you do not have a relationship with anyone, then I would love an opportunity to help you, to walk you through the process, to get you in front of the appropriate team leader. I take that honor very seriously. I'd be more than happy to assist you however I can, and as time goes on. I run a real estate team out of Roswell, and I run a coaching program as well. So, Keller Williams has had a huge impact on my life. And, I do what I'm doing. And in addition to those activities, I also reach out to some people like yourself who, are basically about to make a big decision. And I would love for them to, really understand that not every company is the same. We're not the cheapest place. You're going to find that out. We're certainly not the most expensive, but we're not the cheapest place. But I would encourage you to kind of go down. There's essentially two paths you can go down. One is all the questions are about money and cost. And the other stuff is all the questions are about growth, opportunity, leverage, business building, leadership, mindset, that kind of stuff, right? So we've got an office of 370 people that all know how to sell homes. Why don't they just go work for a cheaper place? They don't go work for a cheaper place because they find they're getting more value by being here, right? So it's not necessarily about price, right? So if, for example, like somebody might say, oh, I'm joining a team and they're going to give me a 70-30 split. And then you got another team that say, I'm going to give you a 50-50 split. So, well, I want to go to the one with 70-30. I said, no, you're not asking the right question. What's the opportunity at the 50-50 split place versus the 70-30 place? And how many leads am I going to get at those two places? Because if I get 6 leads at the 70-30 place, but 600 at the 50-50 place, what do you think I'm going to have better success at? Right.
Sure.
So there's a lot of other questions that I think are really important that you ask, right? What's the cap, or what's the split? What's the cap? What's the monthly fee? What do you get for it? All that stuff.
Yeah, and two, I've researched enough to know, I can kind of see that part of that kind of overall decision related to what you're talking about as far as just value and support is I could see at a certain company, not just EXP, but I'm just talking more along the lines of a, if you want to call it a 100% commission type.
Well, EXP is not a
not
100% company.
Right. I know they're not. I know they have a split, and once you get a cap, then you've got a transaction fee plus 100% after a cap. But just in general, I know that there's sort of this, in my mind, correct me if I'm wrong, there's sort of the thinking of the agent does basically everything themselves. And that's generally going to be the cheapest and potentially the most profit, the highest level of commission back to the agent. But obviously that could affect volume. That could affect your work-life balance. That could affect just, having to do things that you may not necessarily care as much to do, like more paperwork, meeting with more people, meeting with contractors, inspectors, whatever. And then I think from what I've decided or what I've determined, there's also sort of the other side. There's a larger support staff, people that are handling more of the documentation, scheduling and meeting, and that an agent with more time to create more showings or listings and meeting with clients and perhaps generating more contracts.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of that support that you're describing, by the way, is going to be an additional fee at any company.
Understood. Yeah. No, that's fair. I know. So that's just kind of where I'm kind of condensing things down in my mind to my mindset. And like I said, if that's an inaccurate sort of way to look at it, let me know. But I think that's kind of what I've determined is, in addition to anything else, training, culture, whatever, that might also be a consideration with a brokerage that has more support. I know that does come with a price, but could potentially lead to higher volume. And
oh yeah, of course.
Maybe paying more for the support. There may be a different split on commission or a different cap. But if you're able to generate more contracts and closings under one system, and you're doing it in a manner that is more pleasing to you, that might also be a consideration.
I think that's a very good way of looking at it, right? The question is, Gary Keller says, let me define leadership for you, right? Leadership is helping your people think the way they need to think so that they can get what they want when they want it, right? So if the companies aren't talking about thinking, right, then I don't know that they're focused on the right stuff, right?
Sure.
So it's not just like, hey, let's give you bare bones resources and you pay a couple $100 a transaction. Because if you're going to make money, you're going to end up paying close to the same amount that you would here, right? So I think we're on the same page. I think you're definitely right. So let me ask you this. I see that you're in Loganville. Is that you live in Loganville, right?
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. So we have an office basically right there. Would you be open to me setting up a meeting? I'll be in touch with the leadership there and have them reach out to you directly and set up a tour. You can, kind of learn the specifics and tour the office, meet the leadership, and get a better feel for what it's all about.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Cool. And then what's your?
I was gonna say ideally closer to the end of next week if possible.
Yeah, I'll let you coordinate that with them. No big deal.
Oh, okay. Okay, very good.
What's your email, and I'll send you some stuff to review before the meeting.
netmongrel@gmail.com.
How do you spell that?
NET.
Okay.
MONGREL @gmail.com.
All right, cool. I'll send you some information this afternoon, and I will make the connection with the local team leader in Loganville, and let me know how everything is going. I'm more than happy to kind of take off my I love Keller Williams hat and answer any questions that you have from a more objective standpoint if you are interested in some debriefing. Okay.
Okay, that sounds great. And I like I said, I mentioned I do know one particular gentleman as well. His name is Mike Mulder.
Yeah, I know Mike, of course.
Okay. So
well, Mike's the team leader of the one of our sister offices.
Right. Kind of north side. Kind of new Chattahoochee area, what they call it now, but his daughter. So my wife and I, we used to co-direct a nonprofit cheerleading organization.
Okay.
This is a whole aside. We did that for about 12 years together. And his daughter, he has a special needs daughter, Mallory. Yep. She's absolutely amazing.
Yep.
She's one of our cheerleaders.
I love that. They have an organization called Mallory's Hope that my wife and I have supported. He's a great guy. Mike's been a mentor and a friend to me for many years. Yeah, well, he's nuts, but they're a fun family. They really are. But I was considering reaching out to him. I know I'm not in his territory or anything, but I mean, I considered giving him a call. He's not a close friend, but I know him on a first name basis, and I had considered just kind of picking his brain as well. And I may still do that, but I definitely want to honor the fact that you reached out to me. Yeah, Mike would love to chat with you. I think that here's the mindset I would have in mind, which is, Mike's a super talented guy, right? If Mike felt like there was a better organization to support his family, he would already started working there. Yep. Right. Oh, absolutely. And I think that's basically the mic drop moment, right? Yep. So it's asking him, hey, there's so many other companies out there. There's so many other compensation models. There's so many other training things, blah, blah, blah. What's the deal with Keller Williams? Why have you stayed there so long, right? What have you become based on your affiliation with them? And Mike will keep you on the phone for 3 days. I know he will. Yeah, that's a good
timer. That's kind of sort of what I was thinking. I really was just going to tell, get him to tell me, to tell me why. Why are you doing this? What's the deal? And why should I follow in those kinds of footsteps?
Well, I think I don't want to speak for Mike, but I think that he's in the phase right now where he's in the kind of the give back phase. He's received a ton, right? I mean, I knew Mike about 12, 13 years ago, maybe, but I mean, he is incredibly grateful for the things he's received. And now, like a leader should do, they're in the give back moment. And he's trying to change people's lives right now, same thing I'm doing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, and I know you guys are grateful to have the opportunity to do that. That's it's enormously gratifying on whatever level you choose to do it. So.
That's right. That's right. Well, I'm excited for you, sir. If there's anything I can do to assist you from this moment forward, I hope that you will reach out. I will be in touch with the leadership in Loganville and get you guys together ASAP or end of next week.
Best way to get back in touch with you is the number that I have here.
That's right. Yep.
That's the best one. Okay.
Yep.
Very good.
All right, sir. I appreciate everything. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. Thanks for your time today.
My pleasure.
Bye.
That one went really well.